everyone, my name is Tatiana Russo, and today I'm going to show you how I light in Marmoset. So once we're done with this video, you're going to be able to reproduce something that looks a little bit like this. Alright, let's get right to it. So I have a previously modeled object from Autodesk Maya that I made the other day, and I'm just going to show you my process of lighting it in Marmoset in the scene. So let's go. So I like to go into my presets and work off of lights based in these scenes. If you click on them, they will change the lighting on the piece based off of the environment that it's using lights from. And from there, I like to work on what I think shows up the best. So this right panel on my screen is my main camera viewport. So this is what the render will look like once it's out. And I kind of like that lighting there, but let's see. You know what? I think I'm going to stick with this one. So I'm going to close out of this. And you would just click anywhere on the image to try to find a lighting and see if it affects your piece. I think I'm going to go with this nice blue, and it shows up in my perspective. And let's see, make it a little brighter so I can see a little better. And just rotate it, see if I can get a good angle. And it's really just about playing with it, making it look as great as you can. Really like that nice warm light that's showing up, so maybe I should darken this one a little bit. I like to have some contrast of my blues. Let's see if I make it a little brighter, will it show up? Yeah, I really like that line that's showing. But I think what I'm gonna do is rotate my model itself a little bit. And go back to my lighting. I'm gonna lower that. Don't want that to be too prominent. Then I'm going to go back to my skylight, over here a little bit, click on this, there we go, I kind of like that look it's got there. Now I'm thinking about it, I don't like it as blue so much anymore, so I'm going to go in and see if I can lighten it up. Maybe dull it down actually a little bit. Lower the brightness a bit, as I want it there, but I don't want it to be super, super bright. There, I think that works a little bit. It's really just about playing and seeing what you like the most. I think I'm actually going to go into my model texture and go to my roughness map and try to lower that a bit. So I don't want it to be super shiny. So then I can go back into my light and see if the color shows up a little bit better now. And it's really just about playing and having fun with it, trying to make the piece how you want it to be seen. I recently used this on one of my favorite pieces I've made for my portfolio, and I really think the process helps a lot. You could definitely use things to your advantage of whether you want it to look a little bit more stylized, go for an effect. Marmoset is very easy to learn, and it's a very strong software. Alrighty, so I have the angle that I want for my skateboard. I have this nice line of nice orangey red light coming underneath, creating this nice contrast. Now I'm just going to work with the blue a little bit so I get a good contrast line on my piece. It's definitely too bright for my liking, but sometimes it's just about tinkering with the settings a little bit. Let's see, get a nice yellowish there. Let's see. making it kind of takes it away. And really, it's just like playing, trying to find what you think looks best. If you have a specific style you're going for, personally, I like going for a kind of World of Warcrafty type feel, so it's more stylized, and but there's many different styles you can go for based off of your preferences. I just work in more of a stylized function, so I use less realistic lightings, personally. But you can get away with just about anything in the software. It's definitely been quite fun to learn. And I think that's going to be okay. Let's see how adding another light works. I don't like putting in too many lights, but I do like having a good chunk of them. But we definitely don't want that to be gray. Let's go for, let's try a nice greenish yellow. And move this around a bit, because I definitely don't want it on the front. Kind of like that. It's different. Let's try making a blue. See if it looks good. I have a nice little gradient there. Kind of like that. So then, what I like to do when I render out my scenes is I like to duplicate my model itself with a Control-D. Minimize this so that it's not a huge drop down. And bring it, angle it a little differently, scale it. Just kind of give more of a feel of what is happening. But I definitely want one to be bigger than the others. And zoom out a little bit. And I'm going to also sit and duplicate the material editor. And I'm going to make the skateboard be a different color. Because I like to, maybe not that blue. Don't like the greens it's creating there. I think that works. I think I'm just going to angle it so it's less. There, I kind of like that. Move it around a little bit and just put it the way I'd like. I think I'm going to duplicate it one more time. And so I have the underside. And really, it's just a matter of playing. I've only been into using Marmoset recently, as I just learned that it was a great source for modeling, presenting my models, and I definitely want to present them in the best light that I can, personally, myself, and I definitely think Marmoset is a great tool for that. And it's relatively easy to use and was definitely worth the money I put in to be able to use the software. So I don't regret it. I think I'm just going to scale this one up a little bit more again. Maybe scale you down. And this one we're going to duplicate again. And maybe we're going to go for a nice blue. Right. Did not hit the blue. Now make sure you hit that. Drag it onto your piece. And I think what I'm going to do is one of my lights is too bright. So I'm going to try to figure out which light that is real quick. And if you're used to using a software like Maya, there's a lot of similar hotkeys of like the moving, rotate, and scale tools. So it's relatively easier to translate between the two softwares, which is what I do. And I think I'm just going to do one more movement of putting it a little further back. You as well. Maybe scale this one up. It's a little too small. There's a lot of space. And then it's one of my favorite parts, which is working with the camera itself and making the scene a little bit more interesting to look at. Alrighty, so I like to put a little bit more detail into my render to make it a little bit more interesting to the eyes. I think before I continue, I'm going to change the color of my background to help my models pop a little bit, make it a little bit more interesting. I like this kind of a color. Let's see if I can lighten it up a bit. Yeah. And go back to the camera and had the first time. See if I can make this a little stronger. Oh, I don't want that to be strong. I want it to be a little more soft. There you go. And I like to make the color a variation. I think that looks good. I'm just going to double check my lighting. Not my lighting. I'll do that in one sec. I just want to sharpen my scene a little bit. Not too much, but enough. And I think we're going to add some grain to make it look more filmy. I think grain adds to the piece. I know some people prefer not to. Now we're just going to double check the lights, see if I can make it. Yeah, I want it to be a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. And then you would be able to render out your scene and have a very nice lit render. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. I had a great time filming this tutorial for you, so if you have any questions, please reach out in the comments below. Thank you for joining.